big is coming at OTC, and I was hoping to release it today, but it's not quite ready, but it should be ready by within the next 2 or 3 days. And as soon as it's ready, we'll release it on OTC. Also, I'll probably run these live training sessions or live Q&A sessions every day up to the point that we launch the product as well. Okay, so let's get into it. I'm going to share my screen so I can show you a few things. Close up a few tabs. Okay, you should be able to see my screen now. Perfect. Okay, so over the years in OTC, I've been creating and developing, not just myself, with the help of other developers too, lots of useful applications and tools for teachers who want to freelance or just want to be able to be better at what they do when they teach English online. So let me show you what it's all about. I think the best thing for me to do is read this introduction as it kind of explains it. So when I started teaching online, everything I needed lived in different places. There was one subscription to make your website, another for bookings, and the booking systems were not always specifically designed for what we do as online teachers, so you kind of had to adapt them. Then you'd need to find something for payments and for scheduling. Then you need to find resources and lessons and materials you can use in your classes. You need a student management system and all these different apps that you have to get or kind of need if you're going to run your own online teaching business as a freelancer, or even just be better at what you do with companies or with third parties. You kind of need a whole suite of tools, and it adds up pretty quickly when you're paying $8 here, $10 here, $5 here for all these different services. So for many new teachers, this is the reality. You might only be earning $5 up to $10 an hour for some teachers. Unfortunately, the company market is quite saturated. One thing I always recommend is teachers just use companies as a stepping stone with the long-term intention of eventually moving online as a freelancer. So that means focusing on trying to build your freelancing career on the side while using the companies as a stepping stone, a way to learn, and a bit of a stable income. There are positions that pay more than $5 to $10, but unfortunately, it's a race to the bottom at the moment. And especially for non-native speakers of English, I know some companies that only offer $2 an hour, which is insane. So you're not making that much for some teachers, and you want to start freelancing, but then you look into it and it's overwhelming with all the things you need to set up to be kind of visible online as a freelance teacher. No sound. Oh no. All right, Ingrid says no sound. Can anyone else let me know if you can hear me? Unfortunately, I have a really good mic here, but it won't let me connect to it, so I'm using my webcam mic. I'll have to wait for a comment to let me know if you can hear me. I'll just send a message in the text box. Okay, Allison can hear me, so Ingrid, that must be something on your side. If you can refresh. Okay, cool. Thank you, Mari, Neil. Sorry if I say your names incorrectly, by the way. So this is a problem we all face as teachers. The solution was to create OTC Pro. And actually, when I started, I created lots of different applications, one for booking, one for creating your website, one for a digital classroom, one for taking payments. And I realized I'm doing exactly what what I didn't want to have when I was starting out. So I decided to combine everything into a single package. So OTC Pro is going to be this solution, and I wish I had it when I got started freelancing and working with companies. And I hope it helps some of you build a teaching business with more confidence, clarity, and freedom. So what's inside OTC Pro? We've basically, if you've been following Online Teachers Club, pretty much everything we've ever released, any product or service or course or community group that we've ever created is going to be included in the package. So we're just going to throw everything in. And for founding members, for those of you who join in the first 3 weeks that we release, it's only going to cost you $7 or $6.99. So let's go through a few of the features. I don't want to spend too much time on this, as I don't want this to be just a sales call. So we'll get through this quickly, and then we'll get to the training. So instead of paying for all these tools individually, OTC Pro packages them and also gives you training courses on getting started as a freelancer or finding better positions with companies. That'll be live training and also pre-recorded courses you can go through, which include ebooks and PDF checklists and all sorts of stuff. So here are the main kind of web apps you will get with OTC Pro. The first one is teacher4.me. Some of you have tried this out when we first released. And this is basically a way to generate a teacher website really quickly. You can even set your own domain like teacherjenny.com or something like that. So I think the best thing to do is show you my profile. So I set my own domain. That's optional if you prefer to just use our base domain, which is teacher4.me and then / whatever you want as your name. But I set up mrfraser.com for my profile. So it's something kind of easy and memorable I can share with the potential and current students. And basically, when a lot of teachers build websites for to advertise themselves as a freelancer, they go too far and they create a website with 20 different pages, and it's just overwhelming and unnecessary. What you really need, and what I found converts best, is having one simple page where you can advertise your services, show the client who you are, and get them to message you. With searching for leads, what I've noticed is you're not going to get many people visiting your page, seeing a package of lessons, and then going and buying it before speaking to you first. Most parents and independent adult students, they want to speak to you first to make sure you're the right fit. So they can contact you directly on your profile. This will go into your inbox and also into your dashboard for teacher4.me. They'll be able to see either a video or a cover photo up here that introduces yourself as a teacher. We'll watch the first 5 seconds. All right, I won't show you too much. We'll get into the importance of having a really good introduction video. And you can do lots of things to make yourself stand out, such as adding in B-roll or photos and live things of you actually teaching as well, which can really increase the conversion rate. These websites can be translated to your local student's language. It's in Thai because I'm located in Thailand, but if a student views it from Korea, they'll have the option to translate it to Korean really easily there. You can also add your packages for current students. So when a student decides to buy a package, you can direct them here to purchase. And you can link this with PayPal, Stripe, and we offer our own in-house payment gateway too for those who really struggle. I know some countries are not allowed to set up Stripe accounts, and some people struggle with PayPal, and then there's Wise, and there's a lot of options, but depending on your nationality and the country you're based in, it can be difficult for some people. So we have our own in-house a payment provider. Although we're not marketing it publicly, if you are really struggling, we can set that up for you. Okay, so you can contact the teacher. You can add ways to contact you here. I often target students in Thailand and they use Line. So my Line ID is here, and my WeChat ID too, for students in China. Bit of introduction about me and my teaching style. And then you can put a gallery of pictures and videos at the bottom, kind of showing who you are. Students can also write reviews on your page. You can even manually add them to your page, or you can send the students a link and ask them to write a review. This is really important as it's a way of showing legitimacy, and yeah, the best way to convert students is they can see people from their own country are taking classes and liking it. All right, so this is teacher4.me. I'll show you the dashboard. Yep, Ingrid, I will share the recording after, as you're having problem with audio. Okay, so here's the dashboard, and the great thing about OTC, it links to some of our other services. So you also get another app for managing your bookings. You get analytics. You can see who's viewed your profile, how many clicks you've got, how many leads. You can see your student messages here as well. And you can see if a student leaves a review, you can approve or decline it, so you don't get spam in there too. You can edit your photo gallery, payment and booking, and it's really simple. You create a website without having to know anything about creating websites. All you do is fill in a form with the information you want. Your pricing, your information, your pictures, your videos. You just save it right in there in a form, and it'll automatically generate your website. So I might as well show you the next app. TeacherCal is our booking system. And the great thing about all these apps, they're all going to be integrated together. So you don't have to log in and log out of lots of different things. You can access most things from your teacher4.me dashboard. So here's TeacherCal. This is a booking system. So students can see your whole week, see your availability, and choose a slot. So this is the view that you will have. The view that your students will see will be different. I can copy this link here. This is the link you will share with your student. And it just allows them to really ease. Oh, what happened there? Okay, it's not copying. Let me open it directly. But you share that link with your student. They can see an overview of your week, and then they can click to book a slot. You will then get an email notification, and you can approve or decline that slot. You can also manually add classes for students that just book direct with you. And it allows you to see kind of an overview of your week. This isn't really my schedule. It's just created. It's just a mock-up created for this. But you can see when your classes are, and your students can see when you're available and when you're not available. It's just a really simple way to show your student when you're available to teach and let them choose a slot. Because I noticed before, a lot of teachers go back and forth. Okay, I'm available Wednesday, 3 p.m. to 4 p.m., Friday, 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. And they're sending these long messages back and forth until they can finally decide on a slot. This just makes it simple for both the student and the teacher. Okay. We also have a task section here where you can add to-do notes, mark homework, mark. Okay, you can choose the color, you can set date, add details, and this is just kind of a lot of other websites offer this kind of to-do list board, but it's nice that it's built directly into your teaching system. And we also have sticky notes you can add here if you want to add up some, note down some important information. And we'll keep a record of your completed tasks as well. You can complete it by clicking tick, and that will go into your completed section. So this is just an additional feature to help you manage your business. Okay, so back to the main page. We talked about Teacher Cal. Another great product is ESL courseware. I'm going to try and spend less than 30 seconds on each one now so I can get through this. As there are tons of tools and applications, and you get access to absolutely everything as a OTC Pro member, including weekly live training. So once you've joined OTC, I'll be running weekly training sessions, and they'll go into much more specifics than this call today. And we'll really focus on freelancing and practical advice for actually finding your own students. Okay, let's have a look at ESL courseware. This is really useful. So you can open the page. Let me log in. Don't look at my password. All right. So this is ESL courseware. This is kind of like a digital classroom, but it can be used alongside any teaching platform that you use. Google Meet, Classin, Zoom, Vuv, which is the Chinese version of Zoom. If you teach Chinese students, that app is quite useful. And all the other apps. You can share your screen and you can add your students here. You can keep a record. So it's telling me that last time we had a class with Tom, this is the lesson we studied. I can click to continue, or I can choose a new lesson. Let's choose a new one. So we've got over 500 lessons now, pre-made and designed to be taught online. So this is just to save you guys time. If you can find a course that's suitable to your student, you don't have to spend hours and hours making your own materials. Everything is already done. So let's go with grade 1, lesson 1. Unit 1, lesson 2. Let's see what that's like. All right, so these lessons are all based on the Oxford Learning Framework. So it gradually increases in difficulty and it follows all the kind of key vocabulary Oxford recommends teaching ESL students. You can make it full screen, or you can open it in the middle like this. Each lesson includes videos and interactive elements and games as well. Let's go to the game at the end. Oops. Okay, so there's a little game here, memory match, vocabulary game you can play with your students. There's 2 ways to teach this. You can have your student share their screen and then they can interact directly, or you can ask your student to tell you what to click and you can click it on their behalf. Or you can have them use the annotation tool to draw on the box they want to click, and then you go ahead and click it. And okay, they have to match the word with the object. Where was book? There we go. Okay, you can restart game and continue onward with the lesson as well. Here's another game. You can play noughts and crosses with your student too. So all these lessons have interactive elements, and everything's built into the system. You don't have to use the lessons here. We have a PDF library. You can update your own PDF lessons, upload your own lessons here. And the great thing about this is you can keep track of your student information. You can add notes here. What did you do last lesson? What important links do you need with the student? And you can award them stars during the class. And it will actually count the stars during the session, and it will add it to an overall amount. And when you reach certain goal points, you get certificates. So this student has already earned all these certificates, and you can download it and share it with your student, and it's a nice little way to incentivize your students to work hard. Okay. And these will automatically appear when you reach multiples of 50 stars. All right, a couple more things. Videos, you don't have to switch a new tab and go to YouTube. You can either copy the YouTube URL and save it in the list, and that will always be there. You can save videos that you often use with students, and they play directly in the area. It just keeps everything. You don't have to keep jumping between tabs during lessons. We also have our games. So this is Online Teacher Game. This is our game platform that you also get free access to. And this allows you to generate your own games using AI or manually create your own games before classes. And you can also view a library of games that other teachers have created. So let's try another fun one here. It's called Hybrid Animals. Hybrid Animals. Let's do this one. Okay, so we have, first you can study the vocabulary or questions and answers with your students. Okay, so this is a dog and a cat combined. This is a zebra and a cow. They have to guess what two animals are mixed together. Okay, and then you can play some games. We have Connect 4, Tic-Tac-Toe, which is XO. Classic, which is like a board game. You can select up to 8 players, so you can play this online while sharing the screen with your student. You can put their names in, so it helps build rapport with your student. John, Chen. You can add bonuses or not, and then you can choose the scoring system. Let's have color-coded. Green squares are 5 points, orange are 8, red are 10. And you can set a time limit. So if you've only got 5 minutes left at your end of your lesson, you can set a 5-minute time limit so the game's going to end when your lesson ends, and it will say who has the most points when the game ends. Okay, so this is a really simple game. You can either play it in here or you can open it full screen by clicking here. And yeah, you click on a box. So your student will say, please click on number 2. You click on number 2. And they have to guess what two animals are mixed together. It looks like a dog and a cat. You reveal the answer and you click yes if they got it right, no if they got it wrong. And they only get points for answers that get correct. Keeps track of the score at the top. Okay, and then there's bonuses like magma. Take 5 points from each of the players and add them to your score. Okay, we've got a squirrel and a rabbit. Okay, as you can see, so on and so forth. Let's go back to the menu. Let me just show you one more game, then we can move on. Here's my favorite one, Snakes and Ladders. So you have to ask your student to choose a character. You can also zoom in, zoom out to make things bigger. So player 1 wants a frog, player 2 wants a panda. You want bonuses, and you can choose how you win, whether you have to get exactly to the end square or you just have to get enough or more to pass the end of the game. Again, time limit if you want it. And here it is, Snakes and Ladders. So really simple, you roll the dice, you answer a question, and then your character moves. And green lines are ladders, they go up. Pink lines are snakes, they go down. So it's a fun game, and if you land on a star, you get a bonus. I've played this with my students already, and they love it. So check it out. And we're still back in the same area, so we can still continue with our lesson. Here's a random question generator if you run out of ideas during your class. Questions suitable for different levels. Let's do kids. And you can keep generating random questions. I find this useful if you just can't think what to do and you've got 5 minutes left. Have some free talk and have them answer some random questions. What else we got? We got a whiteboard. You can draw, create shapes, all that good stuff. What else we got here? Web browser. If you want to open a certain website, but you don't want to leave the tab, you can open it in here. I find Kiddle really useful. It's basically a kid-safe image search. It's from Google, but it makes sure you don't get any weird images coming up when you search for stuff. Yeah. So sometimes that is useful for if a kid doesn't understand a specific vocabulary. Sometimes the best way is just to show them a picture of it. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly talk over the other features. I'm not going to go into them all, and then we'll get on to the training part. Again, if you have any questions about anything during this, please let me know. You also get access to Big ESL Drive. That's a 2 terabyte drive full of teaching materials. We have textbooks, including the audio and video that come with the textbooks, over 2 terabytes. Pretty much any textbook you can think of is probably in there. And if it's not, you can let us know and we'll try and add it. So you're never going to run out of material for your freelancing teaching business. Student Stars. So this is a browser app. It's over here. And you can add students and keep track of student information right here in your browser. Get access to that too. NewsKid. This is for teaching kids through news articles. So each day we produce 9 new news articles based on what's happening around the world. And we create them in different levels from A1 to C2. And then there's an IELTS one as well. And so you can set the ability of the reading specific to your student. And then there's tons of stuff like downloadable homeworks, quizzes, games, interactive elements, vocab reviews. I think it's really fun for kids that are a bit older and want to learn English while also learning something interesting about what's going on in the world, have a discussion or a debate. This can be useful because sometimes articles are a little bit too complicated and they're not designed for specific learning levels. So this will display news articles in as simple as A1, which is really simple wording, up to C2. All right. Phonics Track. Okay, so this is for tracking and teaching phonics with your students. It allows you to kind of see a chart of phonics that they can do, phonics that they're still learning, phonics that they're struggling with. It works through the Oxford framework, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4 phonics, and gradually increases in difficulty. And there's a bunch of games in there too, like balloon popping, where your student has to shout out the phonic they see it before the balloon goes away, and you can change the speed and things like that. You keep track of multiple students or multiple classes inside here too. Teacher To Do, we already showed you that. It's our kind of to-do app that's built into, you can access this through your Teacher For Me dashboard or the ESL dashboard, or you can go directly to it. Vocab Builder. This is an app for building vocabulary lists with your students. There's AI generation, or you can manually enter things, and it allows you to kind of create a list of vocabulary your students learning, and then you can generate games from that automatically. All the games that you've seen so far, plus a bunch more. And then we have our 2 courses. So this is my course. It's online teaching from zero to booked. It's more focused on getting started, but it does go into freelancing and finding your own students too. It's a self-study course, and you'll get that free with the package too. Here's another course by a guy called Cornelius, great guy, and he created a really useful course that goes into practical advice for actually teaching engaging lessons, as well as how to freelance and find your own students too. You get that too. All right, a bunch of other stuff, some private areas that are just going to be for OTC Pro members, where we are going to dive deeper into getting people into freelancing and talking and discussing and running little training sessions for that. Weekly live training. All right, let's get to the price. So it's going to be $6.99 a month for the first 3 weeks to get access to everything. Even though the price will increase after 3 weeks, if you buy it during the 3-week period, you will keep that price for as long as you remember. So we won't put your price up ever. And this isn't something static. It's something that's constantly going to be growing. We're constantly going to be improving the applications, adding new applications, adding new training, adding new courses. It's going to grow with you. So it's not something kind of static. All right, I'm running out of breath. So this is what's coming soon. I was hoping to launch it today, but it looks like it's going to be a couple more days till it's ready. As soon as it's ready, I will announce it in OTC. All right, before I get into the next topic, how long have we been going? Does it say? Oh, 30 minutes already. Okay, so I was going to go into getting hired, or we can skip that and go straight into some training on freelancing. But before we do that, does anyone have any questions so far? Or if you don't have a question, let me know who you are, where you're watching from, and what you're hoping to achieve as an online teacher. So I'll give everyone a minute to share their questions if they have any, and then we'll move on. Have a drink. Hi, Alison. Good question. Will we get help with advertising? I won't be directly helping you, but we will be doing some training on setting up ads. There's basically 2 types of advertising you can do. As you've asked that question, I think is it true that most of you are more interested in moving into freelancing or more interested in improving your resume and your application and finding more opportunities with companies? If you can comment and let me know what you're more interested in. If most people here are more into the freelancing side, we'll focus on that today. So with advertising, yes, there will be training. So there's kind of 2 types of advertising. There's organic, which is where you create your own social media profiles and you post often and you post high quality stuff and you engage in different groups to try and encourage people to follow you. And then there is paid marketing. You can pay for ads on things like Google, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn. I've had a lot of luck posting ads on LinkedIn. So the paid ads on LinkedIn has worked really well for me. Facebook ads, not so much. It's generated me a lot of leads, but it's often brought me a lot of kind of dead leads and time wasters. Whereas I've had more quality leads from LinkedIn. And of course, depending on the market you target, I focus on the Asian market. So I also advertise on Chinese social media with WeChat. I have to use an agency to do that as it's hard to do it as a foreigner. But we can get into things like that as well. But honestly, when you're getting started as a freelancer, the hardest thing is finding your first, say, 5 to 10 students. That's the hardest part. Once you've got your first 10 students or 5 students and you're a good teacher, you're good at what you're doing, your students love your classes, then you will naturally grow with word of mouth. And what everybody should do is offer incentives for them to recommend friends and family, such as recommend me a student who signs up to a course, you get a free lesson, something like that. That's worked really well for me, especially as I teach kids. I don't do adults, so I'm dealing with parents most of the time. And I've noticed parents love to share on social media, like photos of their kids studying online or pictures. So they often do marketing for you. And that's a really great way to scale. Um, the hardest part is just finding those first 10 though. I don't really recommend going straight into paid marketing. I think you should spend some time building yourself a brand, a social media presence, before you start putting money into advertising, or you're probably going to waste money. Advertising costs can add up pretty quickly. All right, let me have a look at a few questions. Mary is more interested in freelancing. Cool. Very sorry, I'm really terrible with reading names. Allison too, freelance. Okay, looks like everybody wants to do freelancing, which doesn't surprise me because when I started online teaching like 10 years ago or 12 years ago now, there were some really great companies that would fill your schedule, treat you well, and give you a high rate. There's far less of those companies now, and there's a lot of kind of not so nice mega companies that just treat you as a number and fine you for stuff and cut down your pay. So I think companies can be fine first, like I said, a stepping stone to kind of move into the industry. But long term, you should be, while working for these companies, build. I don't say you should quit and then just go straight into freelancing. Start building your brand on the side while working for these companies. So let me look at these questions. Allison's sick and tired of being let down by companies. Yep, I know how you feel. From South Africa, I'm more interested in freelancing, how to secure students. Can one succeed teaching Chinese students using Zoom or Google Meet, or do I need classing? For Chinese students in mainland China, they won't be able to use Google Meet most of the time unless they have a VPN. But even if they do have a VPN, you're going to have lag issues using those apps. There is another version of Zoom. It's basically a Chinese copy. It's called Voov, VOOV. Free to download and free to use, and that works with Chinese students. Classing is great too. Classing is actually my favorite tool. I use it with most of my students. But if you want to teach more than a certain amount of time and you want group classes, you have to pay a little bit for it. But it's not much. I think it's like 20 cents, 30 cents a class, which is actually quite high compared to other platforms. But I like it because you can also message your students within the app, and it's a good way to keep things organized. So I use Classing for most of my private students, and the teachers working for my school also all use Classing because I cannot keep track of all their stuff too. It's just a really kind of nice system. It's all together. Okay, training on how to stand out and get hired. We'll get into that more later, mainly because most people here seem interested in freelancing. So, as I said, the hardest part is getting your first 5 to 10 students. And I don't recommend just jumping in when you're totally unknown and start paying for ads, because you're just going to spend money and you're probably not going to get results. When you start freelancing, the most important thing, you may have heard this before, but the first thing you need to do is choose a niche. A big mistake a lot of teachers make is they say, I'm an online teacher. I teach kids, I teach adults, I target every country. And they think because they're throwing out such a wide net, they're gonna get more students and they're gonna find more leads. But it doesn't work that way. You have to think of it from the perspective of the student looking for a teacher. If they're studying IELTS and they're preparing for an IELTS test, and they come across 2 teachers at the same price, one of them just has a huge list of everything that they do, and the other teacher is focused and specialized only in getting people through the IELTS examination, they're going to go with the IELTS teacher. So niche down on the type of teaching you want to do, and even the language. It doesn't have to be English, or the subject. It doesn't have to be English. It can be science, biology. You can teach other subjects too. ESL isn't the only thing out there. My most successful topic has been teaching English through AI. So it's a really fun class where students learn AI skills, AI generation skills, uh, while learning English as well. So that's a key issue. Niche down, but don't just niche down on the type of teaching. Niche down on what you target first. Don't target every country at once. Say, I'm going to start with Vietnam. I'm going to target Vietnamese students, or I'm going to start with Hong Kong. And try and choose some country you've got some kind of link to, or some kind of understanding about the culture or the people there. But yeah, most important thing, niche down. Once you've done that, you need to think where, all right, I've chosen this niche. Where do those students hang out? If you're targeting mainland China, it's not going to be on Facebook. LinkedIn is actually available in China, and I've attracted many Chinese students through there. So that's an option. But you've got to look in how to get in Redbook. Redbook is the Chinese social media. You make sure you need a WeChat account 100%. You need to make sure you can take payments through WeChat. There are many options to do that, and we'll talk about that within OTC later. So you need to make the friction between the student finding you and buying classes as less as possible. Yeah. Okay, we got a question. Okay, it's about your presence. Oh, it's disappeared. All right. I think he forgot to take away the AI generated bit, but that's fine. I'm totally for using AI to rewrite comments and things. All I use now when I'm working is text to voice. I don't type at all. I use text to voice, and then I rewrite it with AI to make it coherent. But yeah. All right. From South Africa. Okay, we've read that one. Couldn't agree more. So thanks for confirming my thoughts. Okay, Alison. All right. Let me talk about the thing about this is there's so many different things you can do. The first thing is making sure you've got a clear presence where your students hang out, and don't just make a profile and then leave it. You need to be posting on those profiles every day. You need to be sharing videos and content. You can even create little quizzes where you ask your students questions. Try to get engagement on your page, not just views. Okay, Grant says, well, it's about your presence. You have to show your value. What makes you stand out from everyone else out there? I started by offering free group classes every week, and I still offer them. That's a great way to do it as well. That way people can see who you are and what you offer. So here's a technique a friend of mine uses. He targets just the Vietnamese market. I used that as an example before, but he actually targets the Vietnamese market. He speaks a little bit of Vietnamese, but just like basic. But he's traveled there and he likes the country and he gets on with people there, and he's found that niche works for him. So what he does is, Vietnam is heavy on Facebook, so you can just use Facebook to target Vietnam. But they also have a different messaging app. They don't use Line or WeChat. They use something called Zalo, Z-A-L-O. So you'll need that app. You're going to make sure you're in the places the students are. So what he does is, just like Grant was saying he does, he runs a weekly free class. As many students as they want can join, and he live streams that class on his Facebook page. And he's managed to build up a Facebook page with thousands and thousands of Vietnamese people wanting to learn English following him. And he runs this live class every week, which means he can also cut it into sections and use it as marketing material. He can post the whole video and have people comment in real time while he's teaching if they don't want to physically join because they're shy or whatever. But one thing is, you let your students know this class is free, but because it's free, I'm going to be sharing it online. So just let your students know that it's going to be public online. Make sure they're okay with that. But this is a really good way to get started growing. And you might feel, oh no, but I'm working for free, but you're not really teaching. These live sessions, you are teaching, but it's not really. It's really a marketing technique. You're trying to convert people who come into the live classes to paying students later, trying to sell them on packages of either group classes or one-to-one classes. So another thing with regards to pricing, you got to find what's fair for you and what the market is willing to pay. And that can depend widely based on your niche and a lot of other things. The one thing I recommend, one thing I know one teacher used to do, and he would like have the student take their classes through the month and then invoice them at the end of the month for payment. I think that's crazy because you're putting yourself at real risk there. What I recommend is selling packages of classes, 10 hours, 20 hours, 50 hours. I've even sold 100-hour and even once a 200-hour package to someone in Vietnam. I was someone with 4 kids, so it was lots of classes. But sell packages of classes and offer discounts. So the more hours they buy in advance, the bigger discount they get. You can give them the option to buy just 1 hour of class, but it needs to be priced higher. Okay, Grant says, another thing to note, you cannot do this overnight. That's another thing. That's why a lot of freelance. Oh, Grant, it's you. All right, I just realized who it is. All right. I know Grant, actually. Okay, that's completely true. It doesn't happen overnight. And that's one of the reasons a lot of teachers give up and like, oh, it's too hard. I'm just going to work for $10 an hour with the company, because it takes a lot of upfront effort. You've got to build your brand. You've got to make sure you're visible online, and that takes a lot of effort, a lot of posting on social media every day, a lot of running free classes, a lot of doing trials, trying to convert students, communicating back and forth with parents and students on pricing, trying to sell bigger and bigger packages. So let me have a look at the questions. I created them as recreational environment. So Grant, you do that as well, but I know I wasn't actually talking about you. I know someone else who does a similar thing where they do live classes for Vietnamese students. So I think I've seen Grant doing that as well. But yeah, it is a technique that can work, but I haven't done that. I've never done that, and I've had success without doing that. I generally offer free trials if a student is referred to me by another student. If the lead comes in through paid advertisements, I usually charge for the trial, because you often get a lot of time wasters through running ads. Fraser, can we sign up straight away, or do we need to? Yeah, unfortunately, it's not ready yet. I'm really I thought I'd have it ready for today, which is why we set this up. I just need to tweak a few things to make. I don't want to release it and it's got bugs. So I just need to make sure everything works smoothly together, go through and test it all before I release it. Hopefully I can do that all tomorrow and then push it out by Wednesday. But we'll see how things go. Yeah. So if you can hold on for 2 or 3 days until this is ready, that'd be helpful. Yeah. So I'm gonna tell you about I'll tell you about, what time is it? Okay, I'll go in for another 10-15 minutes. I'm going to talk about 2 specific techniques I've seen teachers use to build a following and get students. So we've talked about doing the free live classes, which is an option. Another option is, this is what I have found the most success for through my own school. I don't actually target individual students. I look for something I call a tiger mom. And for me, a tiger mom is somebody, because I target Asia. I started with mainland China, and then I've expanded into Taiwan, Hong Kong. I have Japanese and Korean students as well. Where else? Some in Vietnam and Thailand as well. So I've lost my train of thought. What was I saying? Okay, tiger mums. So what you do is you look for a parent who is kind of has a large network in the education space. So either she's a parent and she's part of a parent group, or she's the owner of a small language school somewhere, or she's just a teacher at a language school. Someone who's got access to students, potential students, through parent groups, or they're on their school board or whatever. And then instead of you having to target every student individually, market to a students individually, you say to this person, okay, I will sell you a package of classes at a set rate, a discounted rate. You can then set up group classes or one-to-one classes, and you can charge the students whatever you want and keep the profit. And you just pay me a fixed fee. So although I'm making less because I'm charging slightly less, I'm saving myself a lot of work because I don't have to deal with the management of each student, the booking, the scheduling. I've got someone who does it for me. So I actually have 2 people in Vietnam I do this with, one in Taiwan and one in Korea. And I'm working on one in Japan at the moment for my own online school. I don't run a huge school, by the way. It's just me and 7 teachers now, but it's slowly growing. And it's almost all done through this technique of finding these people. The difficult part is finding them. The way to do it is to just get involved online on social media in the different environments, offer some free classes, do some free trials. For me, I just found them by luck because it's been a parent who I've taught their 2 children, and then I've offered this opportunity to them, and like, oh yeah, I'm in a parent group with 300 different parents. I can share this opportunity. So that's a technique. I like this because I hate the daily management of lots of students. It's easy when you've got 5, 10, 15, 20 students, but when it grows large, it's really hard to kind of, yep, Grant says, it starts with one golden parent. I'm sure he's experienced something similar where he's found someone who's referred lots of students. Maybe they've not done the deal where the parent makes money. Sometimes you'll just find someone who likes your classes and wants to share them, and you offer them a free class for bringing in a new student or something like that. All right, so I've talked about a few things here. I'm going to see if there's any questions, and then I'm going to end this call today. For those interested in joining OTC Pro, please bear with me. I can see who joined this call, and I'll send you all a personal message in 2 or 3 days when it's ready. By the way, no pressure to join. Everything else that's free now on OTC will still be free. I'm never going to limit, like OTC, it's important to me that it's a free community, but with an additional kind of upgrade for those who are kind of more serious and want to really get started freelancing or just earning more as an online teacher with companies, or even starting their own little schools when they start bringing on their own teachers. I know a few teachers who do really well just creating pre-recorded courses and selling them. They mainly do very specific subjects though. So there's one that does GCSE maths, and he created a course on passing your GCSE maths, which is a British examination board. And he markets that on a platform called OutSchool, and he just makes it once and then sits back and relaxes, and people keep buying these self-study courses. So that's another option as well. Works for some people, doesn't for others. All right, so if you got any more questions, post them now and I'll get to them before we wrap up today. And I'll be in touch in a few days. So these are all the, I tell you what, I can share this link with you, but don't share it around because it's not ready yet. And if you're interested in joining, put your email up here, and I'll contact you as soon as it's ready. You'll get it earlier than when it goes officially live. So let's do that. And if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. Grant says, not a huge deal. No parent has ever asked for a cut. Okay. Basically because I'm handling the market push stuff. So that's a different tactic. And I know Grant is doing very well. I see him on Facebook a lot doing his live classes. And I know he's had a lot of success in the Vietnamese niche. So, but he's done it his own way. All I can do is give you advice and ideas. You've got to find what works for you, because what works for Grant might not be what works for you. So hopefully when we do start the official live training, we'll go into different kind of case studies each week, going deep into different ways that you can kind of market yourself and start finding those students. All right, and we will have a training course on actually the technical side of running ads as well. All right, cheers, Grant. Thanks for joining. Thanks everyone else for joining today. Hope you found this useful and it wasn't too salesy. Yeah, if we have any more questions, post them now. Okay, no more questions. Let me take a drink and then we'll call it a day. So I'm going to go live tomorrow at the same time. Tomorrow's training, I think, will focus on teachers putting together the correct kind of application package and applying in the right spaces so that they get better positions. So we'll focus on employment tomorrow, and we'll probably get into freelancing towards the end of tomorrow's live. We'll run it at the same time tomorrow. Do I see the chat, Fraser? Yeah, I see the chat, Grant. Okay. Alison says, thanks. Thank you. Thank you, Alison. Thank you, Neil. Thanks for joining. Best of luck, everyone. And yeah, I hope I can release this as soon as it's ready. 2 or 3 more days. All right. All right, guys. Have an awesome evening and happy teaching. See you later.